yar, yar, and all that talk. The time has come, the part is finally in, and I can now build the big pirate base, or at least the pirate base that's built on the mountainy looking thing to be the counterpart to the El Dorado Fortress. Once that is done, I can really start fleshing out the whole plan I have for the pirate base. It's going to be a long work in progress. Like I said, I'm starting with the original kits as built by the book, and then I'll be making massive modifications and hopefully adding on. I had a grand plan for this whole diorama. It was going to be every bit as grand as the castle one. Unfortunately, I don't have room for it, and the castle was already built, so it got precedence. Someday I hope to have a room large enough for a diorama of both castle and pirate, and maybe someday one large enough for space as well. But we're going to start with the castle, and then slowly start building up the pirate one. We'll see where it goes. But we're going to build the Rock Island Refuge today, which is a set I, once again, always wish I had, but never did, and there's a couple of unique parts that I didn't have, so I acquired them on the internet, and now I have it, so I'm going to build it. Let's go. Here we have the Rock Island Refuge. Not a terribly complicated set in some ways, but it does have some features that I actually wasn't even aware of all these years until I finally built it. I was actually unaware that there was a little prison here in the base of the tower, much like in many of the pirate sets. They like having little prisons to lock up their enemies in. And it's the same basic design. It has the big jail door and the grate in the front. It also has, it was one of the first sets to have one of these grill plates, 8x8 grill plates. I know the multi-core magnetizer had them too, and I thought they were pretty cool then. It's got a little area that opens up and drops into here, which, given that it's open on this section, I'm not sure what the point is. It also has, which I think is a really neat little feature, essentially a kitchenette. A little stove with a little frying pan on a little bit of fire, which is a fascinating detail to have had a set going that far back. It, of course, has a cannon for defending the little dock, which is actually large enough, really, to dock one of the large pirate ships on. It's obviously too high for these little rowboats, but it would be about the right height for, say, the Black Sea's Barracuda or any of those big ships. So it was clearly designed with that in mind, which I think is pretty groovy. Once again, comes with a large plethora of pirates. You get a little raft, you get a rowboat. The rowboat actually had a sail, but I don't have the sail, but it does have the mast for it. Came with Imperial Guards, plenty of pirates, and like the Barracuda, it came with a female pirate, which was another thing that was uncommonly forward-thinking, really, for LEGO at the time. They did include female characters, not as many, obviously, back then. They're a little bit better. They're definitely better about it now. Most of the town sets all have at least one female figure in there, which is really, really cool of them, and I appreciate that from LEGO. A lot of the castle sets had them too. There was a female forestman, there was the princess in one of the early castles, and now there's, of course, lots and lots of different female characters, and it's really, really cool. It adds a lot of depth and reality to the world, quite frankly, and I think that's really, really neat. So I actually really like this set. I definitely have huge plans to expand it and make it much more complicated and defendable, and all sorts of big schemes. Gonna try to figure out how exactly I can fit in the Forbidden Island and the Skull Island as well into this. That'll be kind of fun to try to kind of combine them and integrate them and see how well they really match. This blue plate here has been borrowed from my castle, so it'll be going back. But between Skull Island and Forbidden Island, I shouldn't have any problem finding more things to connect to it. I may have to actually reverse sides on my setup in order to be able to properly fit things. So the Imperial Guards may end up on this end, and the Pirates will end up on the far end. Not that that's a huge difference, but given the nature of the room, this windowsill is kind of blocking where the back end of the pirate base would be, but it wouldn't block where the back end of the Imperial base would be, so those will probably get switched. So, there you have it. I've now built all of the smaller pirate sets that I plan to build. I've built all of the Imperial sets. I've already done the upgrades and combinations that I plan to do to the Imperial sets. So I will be showing off the alterations that I've made to them next, as soon as I do some upgrades to this one. Not probably going to do a whole lot of upgrades on this one. I'm just going to combine them, kind of. And then I will start showing off my fleet before I pretty much tear them all apart and start from scratch. My big pirate ship, while fabulous and very, very impressive, is huge and takes up too much part. So it's going to get knocked down a few sizes, and a couple more ships are going to get built out of the remains of it, so that I can have a proper fleet. Unfortunately, the table is not big enough for the whole fleet, but I have plans. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this. If this is a set that was from your childhood, I hope it's something that you really enjoyed. If you have any suggestions for stuff you'd like me to build, I'm not really planning to build any of the newer pirate sets, because I frankly don't think they're nearly as well built. And I do have some of them, but I'm sticking with the older stuff for now, just because I thought they were, in general, better sets. But if there are ones that you'd really like to see built, go ahead and put them in the comments. Any other suggestions, ideas, thoughts, just want to call me a huge nerd, go ahead and do so in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching.